First contact and cultural clash. The skies above New Tokyo buzzed with anticipation as the colossal alien vessel descended through the atmosphere. Its sleek, obsidian surface reflected the city's neon glow, creating a mesmerizing light show that captivated millions of onlookers. Dr. Yuki Tanaka, lead xenobiologist at the Global First Contact Initiative, stood at the forefront of the welcoming committee, her heart racing with a mixture of excitement and trepidation. As the ship touched down in the specially prepared landing zone, a hush fell over the crowd. The air crackled with tension as a previously undetected seam appeared on the vessel's smooth exterior. With a hiss of escaping air, a ramp extended to the ground. The aliens that emerged defied all of humanity's expectations. Towering at nearly 3 meters tall, their bodies seemed to be composed of a shimmering, liquid-like substance that constantly shifted and rippled. Multiple appendages sprouted and retracted as needed, and their faces were a swirling vortex of iridescent colors. Dr. Tanaka stepped forward, her voice steady as she delivered the carefully crafted greeting. On behalf of humanity, we welcome you to Earth. We come in peace and hope to establish a dialogue of mutual understanding and cooperation. The lead alien's form pulsed with vibrant hues as it responded. The sound that emerged was like nothing Yuki had ever heard before, a symphony of tones and frequencies that seemed to bypass her ears and resonate directly within her mind. Greetings, beings of Earth, the alien's thoughts echoed in her consciousness. We are the Zaraquin, travelers from the distant reaches of the galaxy. We come seeking refuge and alliance. As the initial shock wore off, the human delegation scrambled to adapt their carefully laid plans. The Zarquin's method of communication presented an unexpected challenge, but one that the assembled linguists and neuroscientists tackled with enthusiasm. Over the next few days, a tenuous rapport began to form between the two species. The Zarquin shared glimpses of their vast interstellar civilization, while humanity showcased the resilience and ingenuity that had allowed them to thrive on their comparatively harsh homeworld. However, cultural misunderstandings soon began to arise. The Zarquin's fluid nature and collective consciousness clashed with human concepts of individuality and personal space. What humans perceived as simple gestures of goodwill were often misinterpreted by the aliens as signs of aggression or duplicity. Tensions reached a boiling point during a diplomatic dinner hosted by the United Earth government. As servers brought out carefully prepared dishes designed to accommodate both species' biochemistry, a Zarquin diplomat's form suddenly convulsed and expanded rapidly. Panic erupted as security personnel moved to protect the human attendees, interpreting the aliens' actions as a potential attack. Dr. Tanaka, drawing upon her years of xenobiological research, realized the truth just in time. "Stop," she shouted, throwing herself between the humans and aliens. "It's not an attack, it's a natural response to the food. Their bodies are processing the new compounds." Her quick thinking prevented a potential disaster, but the incident left both sides shaken. Trust, so tentatively established, now hung by a thread. It was in this atmosphere of heightened suspicion that the Zarquin finally revealed the true reason for their arrival on Earth. Their eldest and wisest, a being they called the Nexus, projected a series of vivid mental images into the minds of the human leaders. The visions showed a terrifying force sweeping through the galaxy, the Void Eaters. These cosmic horrors consumed entire star systems, leaving nothing but empty, lifeless husks in their wake. The Zarquin had fled their home sector, seeking allies in the fight against this existential threat. As the implications of this revelation sank in, humans and Zarquin alike realized that their petty misunderstandings paled in comparison to the danger that now loomed over them all. The fate of not just Earth or the Zarquin homeworld, but the entire galaxy, hung in the balance. Dr. Tanaka, her mind reeling from the psychic onslaught of alien memories, stood up on shaky legs. She looked around the room, seeing the fear and uncertainty reflected in the faces of her fellow humans and the swirling patterns of the Zarquin. "We have a choice to make," she said, her voice growing stronger with each word. We can let our differences divide us, or we can unite against this common enemy. Humanity has faced extinction-level threats before, from our own making and from the harsh realities of our world. We've always found a way to survive, to adapt, to overcome. She turned to the Zarquin Nexus, its form a kaleidoscope of deep purples and blues. You came to us seeking refuge and alliance. We offer you both, but more than that, we offer you hope. Together we can find a way to stop the Void Eaters. A ripple of agreement passed through the Zarquin collective, their colors shifting to match the determination emanating from the humans in the room. The Nexus extended a shimmering tendril towards Dr. Tanaka, and as their minds touched, a spark of understanding passed between them. In that moment, the first true bridge between their species was formed. Humanity and the Zarquin, so different in form and thought, found common ground in their shared will to survive, to protect, to fight against the encroaching darkness. As news of the galactic threat spread across the Earth, humanity's response was not one of panic, but of grim resolve. In labs, factories, and military bases around the world, humans began to prepare for the greatest challenge they had ever faced. The Zarquin, for their part, were astonished by the speed and creativity with which humans approached problem-solving. Ideas that would take their collective centuries to conceive were proposed, debated, and implemented by humans in a matter of weeks. As the first part of this unexpected alliance drew to a close, both species knew that the real challenges lay ahead. The Void Eaters were coming, and the fate of all life in the galaxy would depend on what humans and Zarquin could accomplish together. Dr. Tanaka, standing at the viewport of the newly constructed Joint Command Center, watched as human and alien ships maneuvered in tandem above the Earth. She smiled, feeling a sense of pride and hope swell within her. The road ahead would be difficult, but for the first time since the Zarquin's arrival, she truly believed they had a chance. The stars beckoned, and humanity, alongside their new alien allies, prepared to answer the call. The greatest adventure in human history was about to begin. Forging an alliance. The vast hangar of the International Space Station Alpha hummed with activity. Human engineers and scientists worked alongside their Zarquin counterparts, their disparate forms creating a surreal tableau against the backdrop of gleaming spacecraft and advanced alien technology. Dr. Yuki Tanaka stood at a holographic display, her brow furrowed in concentration as she manipulated a 3D model of a hybrid human Zarquin vessel. Beside her, the Zarquin engineer she had come to know as Flux rippled with shades of green and blue, its thoughts a constant stream of calculations and adjustments in Yuki's mind. If we reconfigure the quantum drive to accommodate for the phase variance in Zarquin biotechnology, Yuki mused, her fingers dancing across the holographic controls, we might be able to achieve faster-than-light travel without compromising the structural integrity of the organic components. Flux's form pulsed with excitement, a burst of golden sparks cascading across its surface. Your species' grasp of theoretical physics continues to astound us, Dr. Tanaka. Such an adaptation would have taken our collective centuries to conceive. Yuki smiled, still marveling at how quickly she had adapted to the Zarquin's unique form of communication. What had once been an overwhelming deluge of alien thoughts and emotions now felt as natural as spoken conversation. That's the advantage of individual thinking, Flux. Sometimes, a single mind can make intuitive leaps that a collective might overlook. Their collaboration was just one of many taking place across the station. In the medical bay, human doctors worked with Zarquin healers to develop defenses against the Void Eaters' energy-draining abilities. Military strategists from Earth's various nations huddled with Zarquin tacticians, poring over star charts and devising battle plans for a war unlike any humanity had ever faced. Despite the progress being made, tensions still simmered beneath the surface. Cultural misunderstandings and deep-seated fears threatened to unravel the fragile alliance at every turn. Captain Alejandro Reyes, a veteran of the Mars colonies, and now commander of humanity's first joint species starship, stormed into the hangar. His face was a mask of barely contained fury as he approached Yuki and Flux. "Dr. Tanaka, we need to talk," he growled, casting a suspicious glance at the Zarquin engineer. "In private." Yuki sighed, recognizing the signs of yet another diplomatic fire that needed extinguishing. "Flux, would you mind giving us a moment? Perhaps you could check on the progress of the bio-neural interface team." The Zarquin pulsed with understanding and glided away, leaving Yuki to face the irate captain. "What's the problem, Captain Reyes?" she asked, bracing herself for the answer. Reyes' voice was low and intense. "The problem, Doctor, is that these aliens are compromising our security protocols at every turn. They're accessing restricted databases, interfering with our weapon systems, and who knows what else they're up to when we're not looking." Yuki took a deep breath, reminding herself of the captain's background. As a career military man, trust didn't come easily to him, especially when it came to non-human entities. "Captain, I understand your concerns, but you have to remember that the Zarquin don't think like we do. Their collective consciousness means they're used to sharing all information freely. They're not trying to spy, they're trying to help in the only way they know how." Reyes wasn't convinced. And what happens when this help compromises Earth's defenses? We're handing over our most advanced technology to a species we've known for less than a year. "A species that came to us for help," Yuki countered, her patience wearing thin. "A species that's facing the same existential threat we are. Captain, if we can't learn to trust each other, the Void Eaters have already won." Their argument was interrupted by a sudden commotion near the airlock. A group of human technicians were backing away from a Zarquin researcher whose form was fluctuating wildly, tendrils of energy crackling around it. Yuki rushed over, with Captain Reyes close behind. As they approached, she could feel waves of distress emanating from the alien. Its thoughts were a chaotic jumble, fragments of terror and despair overwhelming its usual calm. "What happened?" Yuki demanded, looking from the frightened technicians to the agitated Zarquin. One of the techs, a young woman with wide eyes, stuttered out a response. "We were working on integrating their shielding technology with ours. Everything was fine, and then suddenly, this." Yuki turned her attention to the Zarquin, opening her mind to its turbulent thoughts. Images flooded her consciousness, stars going dark, entire worlds being consumed by a creeping void, and a sense of utter hopelessness. With a start, she realized what was happening. "It's having a panic attack," she announced, her voice filled with wonder and sympathy. The stress of our situation, combined with the psychic trauma of what they've been through, it's overwhelming their emotional control. Captain Reyes looked skeptical. "Aliens get panic attacks." "They're sentient beings, Captain," Yuki replied, her voice soft but firm. "They feel fear, hope, and despair just like we do. Maybe even more intensely, given their collective nature." Slowly, carefully, Yuki approached the distressed Zarquin. She extended her hand, palm up, and focused her thoughts on calm, soothing images. Earth's oceans, peaceful forests, the quiet beauty of a starry night. "It's okay," she said aloud, knowing the words mattered less than the intent behind them. "You're safe here. We're in this together, and we will find a way to stop the Void Eaters. Breathe with me." Gradually, the Zarquin's form began to stabilize. Its erratic energy patterns smoothed out, and the chaotic swirl of its thoughts settled into something more coherent. A tendril of its liquid-like substance extended, gently wrapping around Yuki's outstretched hand. Gratitude and embarrassment flowed through the connection. "I apologize," the Zarquin's thoughts whispered in Yuki's mind. "The memory of our lost worlds, it overwhelmed me." Yuki smiled reassuringly. "There's no need to apologize. Your pain, your loss, it's part of why we're fighting. We understand." She turned to Captain Reyes, who had watched the entire exchange with a mixture of awe and unease. "You see, Captain, they're not so different from us. They have fears, vulnerabilities, and incredible strength. We need to work together, to understand each other, if we're going to have any hope of surviving what's coming." Reyes was quiet for a long moment, his expression thoughtful. Finally, he nodded. I think I'm starting to see that, Doctor. Thank you for the lesson. As the crisis passed and work resumed in the hangar, there was a subtle but noticeable shift in the atmosphere. Humans and Zarquin alike moved with newfound purpose and understanding. The incident had served as a powerful reminder of what was at stake and the importance of their alliance. In the weeks that followed, breakthroughs came at an astonishing pace. The hybrid starship neared completion, its sleek design a testament to the combined ingenuity of two very different species. New weapons were developed, combining Earth's mastery of particle physics with Zarquin energy manipulation techniques. Communication systems were refined, allowing for instantaneous exchange of information across vast distances. But perhaps the most significant development was the growing sense of camaraderie between humans and Zarquin. Cultural exchanges became common, with humans teaching their alien allies about art, music, and the complex tapestry of Earth's history. In return, the Zarquin shared glimpses of the wonders they have encountered in their journey across the stars. As the day of the mission's launch approached, Dr. Yuki Tanaka stood once again at the viewport, gazing out at the Earth below. Flux glided up beside her, its form a calm sea of deep blue. "Your world is beautiful," the Zarquin's thoughts whispered in her mind. "We understand now why you fight so fiercely to protect it." Yuki nodded, a lump forming in her throat. "And we understand why you've traveled so far, risked so much. Your home, your people, they're worth fighting for too." Together, human and alien looked out at the starfield beyond, each lost in their own thoughts yet connected by a shared purpose. The Void Eaters were coming, but they would face a united front, alliance forged in understanding, respect, and the unshakable will to survive. As the final preparations for their desperate mission were made, both species knew that the true test still lay ahead. But for the first time since the Zarquin arrived on Earth, there was a genuine sense of hope. Whatever challenges awaited them in the depths of space, they would face them together. The stars beckoned, and humanity, alongside their Zarquin allies, stood ready to answer the call. The fate of two civilizations, and countless others across the galaxy, hung in the balance. But in that moment, on the cusp of their greatest adventure, both humans and Zarquin allowed themselves to believe that together, they just might be strong enough to echo across the cosmos. "We will endure. We will survive. We will triumph." The hybrid starship Resilience hung in Earth's orbit, its sleek form a testament to the combined genius of human and Zarquin engineering. Inside the bridge, Captain Alejandro Reyes sat in the command chair, his fingers dancing over holographic controls as he ran through final system checks. Dr. Yuki Tanaka stood at the science station, her mind interfaced with both the ship's advanced AI and the Zarquin collective consciousness. Beside her, Flux rippled with anticipation, its liquid form reflecting the starlight streaming through the viewports. "All systems are green, Captain," Yuki reported, her voice steady despite the butterflies in her stomach. "The quantum drive is primed and ready for our first jump." Reyes nodded, his expression a mixture of determination and barely concealed excitement. "Very well. Helmsman, set course for the Proxima Centauri system. Let's see what this ship can do." As the Resilience's engines flared to life, the crew, a mix of Earth's finest and the most adaptable of the Zarquin, held their breath. This was the moment of truth, the culmination of months of frantic preparation and cooperation. The stars outside the viewport blurred, and for a heart-stopping moment, reality itself seemed to bend around the ship. Then, with a flash of quantum energy, the Resilience leaped across light years of space. Cheers erupted on the bridge as the familiar constellations of Earth's night sky were replaced by the alien star patterns of humanity's nearest stellar neighbor. They had done it, the first successful faster-than-light jump in human history. But there was little time for celebration. The Void Eaters were moving through the galaxy at an alarming rate, and the joint human-Zarquin fleet had a long journey ahead of them to reach the front lines of this cosmic war. Over the next few weeks, the Resilience and its sister ships pushed deeper into uncharted space, testing the limits of their new technology and the strength of their interspecies crews. Each jump brought them closer to their target, a region of space where the Zarquin's long-range sensors had detected signs of Void Eater activity. It was during one of these routine jumps that disaster struck. As the Resilience emerged from quantum space, alarms blared across the bridge. Yuki's hands flew over her console, her mind racing to interpret the flood of data. "Captain, we've got a problem," she called out, her voice tense. "The quantum drive is destabilizing. We're losing containment." Reyes sprang into action, barking orders to his crew. "Divert all non-essential power to the drive's containment field. Prepare for emergency shutdown." They had been forged into something greater than the sum of their parts, a true union of two species, ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead. The Void Eaters, and indeed the universe itself, had no idea what was coming for them. As the Resilience limped towards the unknown, Yuki found herself standing next to Flux at the viewport once again. The alien's thoughts brushed against her mind, tinged with a mix of fear and excitement that mirrored her own emotions. "We are far from home," Flux observed, its form rippling with shades of blue and purple. Yuki nodded, her eyes fixed on the alien stars before them. "Yes, we are. But maybe we're exactly where we need to be." Together, they watched as the starfield slowly shifted, carrying them towards their next great adventure. Whatever lay ahead, be it salvation or doom, they would face it as one. Human and Zarquin, united in purpose, ready to leave their mark on the cosmos. The journey of the Resilience was far from over. In fact, it had only just begun. A new horizon. The bridge of the Resilience hummed with nervous energy as the battered ship approached the source of the mysterious readings. Captain Reyes leaned forward in his chair, his eyes fixed on the main view screen. Dr. Yuki Tanaka and Flux stood side by side at the science station, their minds linked in shared concentration. As they entered the star system, a collective gasp rippled through the crew. Before them loomed a massive structure, clearly artificial, its surface rippling with the same energy patterns they had observed in Void Eater attacks. But this was no weapon of destruction. It's a gate," Yuki breathed, her voice filled with awe. "A quantum gate, far more advanced than anything we've ever seen." Flux's form pulsed with excitement. The energy signatures, they're similar to Void Eater technology, but refined, controlled. This could be the key to understanding them and stopping them. Captain Reyes nodded, a slow smile spreading across his face. "Well, crew, it looks like we stumbled onto something big, something that could change the course of this war." He turned to face his diverse crew, humans and Zarquin standing shoulder to shoulder, united in purpose. "We're a long way from home, and the road ahead won't be easy. But together, I believe we can unravel this mystery and find a way to save both our peoples and countless others across the galaxy." Yuki felt a surge of hope as she looked around at her crewmates. Human determination and ingenuity, combined with Zarquin adaptability and cosmic knowledge. Together, they were more than a match for any challenge the universe could throw at them. As the Resilience moved closer to the ancient gate, its crew stood ready to embark on the next phase of their incredible journey. Whatever lay beyond, new allies, fearsome enemies, or wonders beyond imagination, they would face it as one. The stars themselves seemed to shine a little brighter, as if in recognition of this pivotal moment. Humanity and the Zarquin, once strangers, now stood on the brink of a discovery that could reshape the galaxy. Their odyssey was far from over. In many ways, it had only just begun. But as the engineers, both human and Zarquin, scrambled to address the crisis, it became clear that this was no ordinary malfunction. The quantum energies unleashed by the drive were behaving in ways that defied the laws of physics as they understood them. Flux's form pulsed with alarm, its thoughts resonating through the ship's neural interface. This energy signature, It's similar to the temporal distortions we've observed in the wake of Void Eater attacks. We may have jumped into a region of compromised space-time. Yuki's eyes widened as she processed this information. Captain, if Flux is right, shutting down the drive might trap us here, or worse, tear the ship apart. Reyes gritted his teeth, weighing their limited options. We can't stay here, and we can't go back. Our only choice is to push forward. Dr. Tanaka, work with Flux and the engineering team. Find a way to stabilize the drive long enough for one more jump. What followed was a frantic race against time. As the fabric of space-time buckled around them, threatening to crush the resilience like a tin can, Yuki and Flux led a desperate effort to modify the quantum drive on the fly. Human intuition and creativity meshed with Zarquin collective knowledge and adaptability. Ideas were proposed, discarded, and refined at a dizzying pace. In the engine room, engineers worked with a sense of unified purpose that transcended species boundaries. We need to modulate the drive's output to match the frequency of the space-time distortions, Yuki theorized, her fingers flying over holographic equations. Flux's form rippled with excitement. Yes, and if we inverse the polarity of the containment field, we might be able to create a bubble of stable space around the ship. As klaxons wailed and the ship groaned under the increasing strain, the modified drive came online. Reyes didn't hesitate. Helm, execute jump now. The Resilience leaped blindly into the quantum void, its systems pushed well beyond their design limits. For a terrifying eternity that lasted mere seconds, the ship existed in a state of quantum uncertainty, neither here nor there in the fabric of the universe. Then, with a lurch that sent crew members sprawling, they emerged back into normal space. The view screen showed an unfamiliar starfield, and for a moment, an eerie silence fell over the bridge. It was broken by the ship's AI, its synthesized voice oddly calm given the circumstances. Spatial analysis complete. We appear to have traveled approximately 10,000 light-years from our previous position. Current location, unknown. The implications of this statement slowly sank in. They had jumped farther in a single leap than any ship in known history, but at what cost? As systems came back online and damage reports flooded in, the true scope of their situation became clear. The quantum drive was fried, multiple systems were offline, and they were stranded in an uncharted region of the galaxy, far from any hope of rescue. But amid the chaos and uncertainty, something remarkable was happening. Humans and Zarquin moved with synchronized purpose, anticipating each other's needs, communicating with efficiency born of shared crisis. The barriers that had once separated them seemed to have melted away in the crucible of their ordeal. Captain Reyes, surveying the bustling activity on his damaged bridge, felt a surge of pride. "Status report," he called out, his voice steady and confident. Yuki looked up from her console, a tired but determined smile on her face. "It's not pretty, Captain, but we're alive. Life support is stable, and we've got emergency power. The engineering team thinks they can get the sublight engines online within a few hours." Flux, its form shimmering with a mix of concern and excitement, added its thoughts to the report. "Our long-range sensors are damaged, but we're picking up some unusual energy readings from a nearby star system. It almost looks like Void Eater activity, but there's something different about it." Reyes absorbed this information, his mind already formulating plans. "Well, ladies, gentlemen, and beings of all descriptions," he addressed his crew, "it seems we've stumbled into the deep end. But if there's even a chance we found a lead on the Void Eaters, we have a duty to investigate." He straightened in his chair, projecting an aura of confidence that spread throughout the bridge. "We may be lost, we may be outnumbered, but we are not out of this fight. This ship is called Resilience for a reason. Let's show the universe what that means." A cheer went up from the crew, human and Zarquin voices blending in a chorus of determination. As they set to work repairing their ship and plotting a course to the mysterious energy readings, there was a palpable sense of anticipation in the air.